Good morning, good afternoon, and good night to all of you around the world. Let's get this party started. Today, we are reviewing Pac-Man World 2. Pac-Man World 2 released on February 24th, 2002. It is a game that was obviously developed and published by Namco, along with another smattering of others, including Full Fat, who did the Game Boy Advance version of this game, which I didn't realize at first when I was getting ready to actually review this game, that there was a different publisher for a different version of it. So, that's an interesting little fact there for you. The game is based simply off of the storyline of, you start off, you're at home, you're asleep, doing your own thing. All the ghosts shows up, so Blinky, Pinky, Inky, and Clyde. The story starts off with them going around, causing a problem, doing all their, things they do. They go over to a tree, they rip some golden fruit off of it, which causes a monster, who is apparently sealed underneath the tree, that was, buried with the golden fruit, to be sealed away, and, cause the monster not to be causing problems. And what is this name of this big, scary monster? Spooky. The big bad of this game is named Spooky. I wish I was joking, but I'm not. Where do I start here? So, this game did a really good job of how just to keep it fun and immersed. Yeah, the game, all in all, is kinda short. Like, you can beat the game in under 4 hours with your first attempt if you have no idea what you're doing, just because it's pretty straightforward. Yeah, some of the boss fights are very difficult and some of the puzzles get kind of confusing, but I do enjoy the fact that they just give you this Pac-Man experience that's doesn't try to go too hard and too crazy difficult. It is fun for anyone of all ages, and I really enjoy that idea. Now, let's get into some of the things that I think this game did absolutely well. First off, open world platforming in this game feels very smooth and very well. And almost to the point that this game did it too well. You just run around and you adventure around and jump on platforms and climb up ledges. And it's very smooth and easy controlling, to the point that you almost feel obligated to overcorrect yourself when you're jumping across like long chasms or like jumping from platform to platform, that you feel like there's not gonna be enough distance or nothing's gonna go perfectly right, and then you just overshoot it and take yourself out and you lose a life and you just have to start over again. And yeah, this game has a really good idea of where to actually set checkpoints, so even when you die, it doesn't necessarily feel horribly bad of trying to get back to where you were, which I absolutely love. I also really much enjoy the fact that this game includes little fun bonus mini-games where you just play old school Pac-Man, but you're just a 3D model running on a Pac-Man board, collecting, your dots, just avoiding the ghosts, and just doing your thing. It's old school Pac-Man. There's nothing really super interesting or deep about it, it's old school Pac-Man. And I really love that little inclusion there, along with the fact that it's a 3D platform style game. Now, let's get into some of the ideas, designs for these levels, because yeah, you start off in your open field areas or like a mountainside, and you jump through cliff areas, and yeah, you can fall off the ledges and lose lives, and there's bad guys everywhere, and yeah, it's very what you would expect for a platformer from the Pac-Man world. There's a forest map where you have to jump on little platforms to get to higher spots. All the boss fights play really well. The first major boss fight of this game, and this is not really much of a spoiler because you will hit this within literally 20 minutes of you fighting someone in a mechanical frog, and the frog sticks its tongue out at you, and it's covered in weapons, and it can harm you, and so you have to play it smart. But the game is very well done at just telling you what is very obviously a weakness. When you get to a point where there's a cinematic or them explain something to you, they very much tell you, oh weird, there's that spot right there, what would happen if I hit that? It's very on the nose, which I like. It's very handy and helpful for people who might need that extra assistance, because, it is, at the end of the day, a Pac-Man game, and it's made for, E for everyone. I it's super straightforward. Yeah, some of the levels are kind of difficult, and you might need a little bit of help here and there, or sometimes you might even need to look at a guide if you get kind of confused. One of the boss fights in this game requires you to time it really well to launch yourself from one platform to another, to bounce off something, to get up in the air, to land on the boss. And they don't help you with that in the slightest. They pretty much acknowledge to you at the very beginning, oh hey, this is what you need to do at the very beginning of the boss fight. But it's easier said than done, because the boss can sometimes just be completely random, which is something I don't necessarily like. It's weird that this game has this whole very well, like, hold your hand, it's very simple and straightforward, so nothing's horribly difficult. But then you have these boss fights that's just weird mechanically. You can just die a whole bunch, you can lose lives, yeah, it's weird. It's a weird cosmetic choice to make compared to how well else the game plays. Yeah, at times there's like these puzzles that if you're not careful, you'll lose a life, or you'll just fully wipe and you have to start all over again. And I don't necessarily like that. Yeah, I get that it's supposed to be a platformer and supposed to be like, you know, it's Pac-Man world, but it's weird to me that they did this choice of here's these randomly, weirdly hard levels for no logical reason, and I couldn't tell you why they're there. Sure, yeah, the gameplay is very straightforward and very fun to play. You are Pac-Man. You run around, you climb, you jump, you can roll up into a ball to launch yourself, you can, you know, speed up to give yourself some extra speed to get across platforms. But it's weird that this game does this whole thing where they punish you for really nothing. There's like this whole punishment mechanic in this game of just, here's this obscenely hard boss fight or this weird like puzzle that you were sitting here, you're gonna lose a bunch of lives to until you figure it out. But then the rest of the game is like, oh hey, you can breeze through an entire like full level in maybe a couple minutes, and it's like this a lot. And then it's out of nowhere, hey, here's a super hard level that if you don't know what exactly you're doing, you're gonna be stuck here for a minute. It feels strange. It feels like an odd choice to make. Couple of that of like how long it takes to actually beat this game, it's strange to me that they put these conscious decisions into having levels that just make you lose lives and they're difficult until you actually figure out what you're supposed to do. It's a strange choice, but I digress. One of the things I really do enjoy with this game is that it's this weird inclusion of just giving you these old school style Pac-Man maps. And also they give you the ability to just play old Pac-Man just style games and levels. You can collect tokens you can go use in Susie's Arcade that's in the very first starting area to unlock the ability to go play things like Pac-Man, Pac-Attack, Pac-Mania, Miss Pac-Man, etc, etc. And I really enjoy that inclusion of, hey, let's honor these older games in the series for anyone just to play. And I really enjoy the idea that if you can just play through the game, unlock everything, it gives you something else to do afterwards, instead of just being a monotone experience of, hey, I beat the entire game, story, everything is such 100% of it, all in like under 4 hours. That is a good choice, and it's a good conscious decision. Yes, the game is fun, it's really well thought out, but there are these moments where the balancing issues turn into kind of a problem. And now let's just break this down into pros and cons. Honestly, the pros for me is it's very everyone can play it friendly. It's very straightforward. Sure, there are moments you're gonna get stuck, and it's probably gonna take other people longer to figure out like how certain puzzles work and how to get across certain platforms. But the game is very friendly to anyone that picks it up, and I really much enjoy that. Sure, there's gonna be points where you're gonna get frustrated and things are gonna be super annoying to deal with, but you will figure it out eventually because the game very much helps you with that and kind of very obviously tells you what you need to do. It's a very smart, conscious decision to do in game making, and I really enjoy that. Also, it's just a really well thought out design levels. It's very just well balanced, nothing super difficult. The checkpoints are great. I think this game has one of the best checkpoint systems I've ever seen in just games in general. So apparently these checkpoints are very well thought out for, hey, here comes an upcoming difficult section, or a weird platforming area that might be a little bit difficult for just every average person. Like, that's completely fine, and I love that. Sure, if you're just someone that can breeze through this game easy peasy without getting a single hit on you, happy day. But if you need that extra help, the game helps you with that, and I enjoy that. They don't punish you for not being fully experienced at platformers. It is a great first platformer for most people, and I would 100% recommend this to anyone. My cons, honestly, I think the boss fights and some of the levels are really badly designed in moments where they punish you severely by making you lose multiple amounts of health or multiple lives over and over again because they don't blatantly obviously tell you, hey, here's what you should do, when they blatantly tell you everything you should do in the game. So it feels weird to do this. It feels like an odd decision to make. At the end of the day, I think this game did a wonderful idea of how to balance things. And so the fact that they did these weird balancing choices is honestly my only actual major con. I feel like everything else in this game was really well thought out and really straightforward so that you don't feel punished for just playing the game. Yet, here these random sections are. So with that, I'm honestly going to give this game an 8 out of 10 fins. I think it's very well done and really fun. It's very straightforward, it's fun for everyone. I think this is a game that you should just pick up for random friends, whether it's your children or yourself or whoever. I think most people should play this game. It's a good fun time. But it is getting the reduction of 2 fins because it is unnecessarily difficult at times, which it shouldn't be. Is it going to be you're stuck here forever situations? No. It's going to take time, it's going to punish you, but they don't really obviously tell you these things. And those feel really badly contradicting to how this game plays and how it's handled. But at the end of the day, guys, that's a review. Love you all, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!